Alright, welcome back. We are going to resume with Elven Halls 3. I am still training armor, trying to completely eliminate that physical attack delay from it. I probably already have, but I'm going to put a few more points into armor just to make sure. Fairly good on unarmed combat and fighting, could use a little bit more, but I'm trying to get deflect missiles online, which is currently at 83%. Let's see, if I put on my Ring of Wizardry, it goes down to 50%, so it's still not castable with Wizardry, but it's close. I'm starting to think it might have been a little bit of a mistake to try and get deflect missiles online with crystal plate armor. Usually it's not a problem, but with crystal plate armor it's a little bit more costly. But I've already started doing it and I'm going to continue, even if it does end up being quite a lot of experience. Okay, so this looks like this might even be the entrance to the vaults. No, the vault at the end of Elf, not the branch, the vaults. So we're just gonna put an exclusion there and we'll come back later. It's nice of them to put a shadow trap right next to the entrance, but we'll just deal with that when the time comes. I could just magic map the whole floor to be sure. I mean, I've got plenty of the scrolls. They really want to confuse me. Armor, there we go. Flash of the Cloak of the Flash. That's going to be considerably better than what I have, and I have tons of gold, so I might as well go for it. The Faintly Glowing Plate Armor has a small chance of being worth it. I suppose I could since I have so much gold, but very likely it would not be better than what I have. So let's see, let's drop the Scroll of Holy Word. I almost never use those. They're quite good if you have, monsters that are vulnerable to them, and they do hurt things that are not, they will hurt things that are not vulnerable to Holy as well, but I don't use them that often. We're starting to get enough of these scrolls of enchant armor to really like my crystal plate armor choice. We're up to what was that, 9 now? Yeah, plus 9. So still need 5 more to get maximum, but even if I ended at plus 9, I would be quite happy with that. Let's try the Rand art. That's tempting. It's got the corrosion for slime, but that would be the only time that this would be useful. Even if it just had like a plus 5 to 10 something on the armor enchantment, somewhere in that range, it might be wearable for the resistances, but wouldn't be nearly as much AC as the crystal plate armor. Alright, so this is in fact the entrance to the vaults. Now there's a stone entrance here, so it's going to be a little bit more annoying to do the standard elf trick, which is to dig a kill hole like this, and then you can fight monsters one at a time. Most of these elves are fairly weak, but they have powerful ranged attacks, and if you have a whole bunch of them inside of you at once, you're gonna have a bad time. So people just dig a little kill hole and take care of it that way. You have to be careful. As a Naga of Chi, you're not really going to be able to run back to your kill hole very easily. So especially when there's a stone entrance like this, you have limited use of the kill hole, but it's not that bad. And they certainly are not necessary in order to, go through these elves. Do be careful though, because things like that Annihilator can cast Crystal Spear and hit you for rather nasty amounts of damage. I think it's like 110 or so is their max. Something in that range, 120. Know where this archer is going to show up. Looks like he's lost sight of me for now. And there he is. Comes right back. Okay, we'll give him a couple shots for me to drop in here. Oops. Cast Control Teleport instead of Regeneration. And I'm on a level where I can't even cast Control Teleport, so that doesn't help me at all. At least I now have Control Teleport down to a reasonable failure rate, so it didn't explode in my face. Eat some pandemonium pizza. Blinking. Mutation, did not want that, but I still have not found resist mutation. And once the Hellwing died, there wasn't anything to block my line of sight. Alright, I guess I could walk into the Annihilator. He's got a pole arm, so he's not coming to me. Looks like a Randart Bardish, which is probably one of the more powerful weapons in the game. And certainly one of the more interesting ones on a Cheibriados follower, because it has a range of 2. I'm gonna annoy everyone and not identify it though, even though I occasionally do that and identify things that I'm not gonna use. And my RC file is even picking it up for me. Stop doing that. You're wasting my turns. Another ring, lots more gold. Ring of Flight, do not need that. So I'm mostly just resting and waiting for things to wander into my line of sight, because I do not want to go too deep into this vault. I would rather have them come out slowly towards me, and they'll show up at a reasonable rate, usually. I'm not making too much noise, so this is fairly safe. Again, if you were not terribly slow, you could drag more things back to a little cubby like the kill hole. I think I'm pretty good to start going in though. Another Guardian Spirit, and look, they've really, wow, Guardian Spirit and Lantern of Shadows all over the place this game. Let's distortion them towards me a little bit. I'm gonna use a slouch there because I do not want the Tormentor to torment me. Really don't want that demon to mutate me either, so we'll do another slouch, why not? Alright, we got a scroll of recharging, that's always helpful. Staff of Fire, why am I picking up staves? Stop doing that. Amnesia, artifact. I don't need a crystal ball of energy either. Well, if I want another chance at the Embrace for bonus armor, I could do that, but I'm not going to bother. In case I want Magic Dart. An Ego Giant Spiked Club, don't see those every day. Well, there's Ice Form. And Bolt of Cold, Freezing Cloud are always a good option in case you want to pick up direct damage spells, but not really the best thing to do on this build. You can go magic instead of like a ranged attack if you want. You have the intelligence for it, but it is a little bit more expensive in terms of experience. Still, if you go for something reasonable like a Pure Conjuration or Iron Shot with Earth, you know, that also synergizes with your statue form, then it's not terribly expensive, and that's spells that will attack, you know, damage any monster. It's not dependent on their resistances. Book of Battle, don't need that. Okay, so that's the end of Elf. I think I will do Crypt just because, why not? I am still trying to get Deflect Missiles going. It's at 45% without Wizardry right now, so I could probably even cast it with the Wizardry. I'm gonna, yeah. We'll keep the train the same for now. I was thinking of turning on spell casting, but I don't need spell casting really. I can get a little bit more of that in the near future. Back to the crypt. Teleport trap. Oh no, that was my. I have the blinking, right? I have the blinking mutation. And it didn't happen before because I was on control teleport for. Maybe it was just too short for me to notice. So I have one potion to cure mutation. I think I've dropped a couple before. Yes, I've dropped 3. I could lose my magic resistance 1. I don't actually need magic resistance, so I'm okay with that. Let's quaff it. And we lost everything, but that's okay. Grand Grimoire. Alright, that's actually useful. Of the 4 high-level spell books in the game, I like the Grand Grimoire and the Krasic Record the best. So this will give me Aura of Abjuration. Does mean I have to train summoning to 10. I would have to actually get another book of summoning to train that. I am one of those crazy people who will just train a school for one spell that I really like. And I really like Aura of Abjuration. Particularly if you're doing 15 runes, it's much more useful and extended where there's a lot of people summoning fiends. It's not quite as necessary in the 3-rune game. I still don't know if I'm going to bother to do more than, 3 or 5 runes. I don't have stone skin to go with the statue form, but I could probably do without that. Still, this is a crystal plate armor build is not really the time that you want to be going for statue form anyway. I might end up just doing like 3 or 5. Nope, that's a trapdoor. Let's take this one down. Calls on the power darkness. At least I have some resist negative. That's always helpful. Against torment. Why is it turning on auto pickup when my unknown stabs is do not pick up? Just because it's identified by the monster wielding it doesn't mean I want it. Frederick the Flawless. I get Spellforged Servitor now. I think that's new. And Bolt of Cold and Iron Shot. That's good because I don't have any cold resistance, right? Yeah, there you go. So I can just get double Bolt of the Colds. I didn't know he was a demigod. That's also, I think that's also new. Frederick the Demigod. Bolt of Lightning. Oh, he's even getting double zaps on me. Come on. Walk towards me. Enter the blades. There's just, I got some blades here. They've got your name on them. Just walk into them, please. Yeah, well, not a good idea to look at your spell successful. Blade Hands is still up. Deflect Missiles at 30%. I'm going to try some Wizardry. Puts it at 12, still red. Probably don't really need the Wand of Draining anyway. Yeah, let's drop that too. Keep the open inventory slot. Third time we're fighting Boris here. But he's still a pushover as he was before. Alright, that's enough of air magic. I'll keep charms for a little bit and turn on spellcast and we'll do it that way. Armor skill will also help to bring that down a little bit, but it's not terribly effective at it. If I have to use Wizardry to cast Deflect Missiles, I wouldn't mind. I believe its power is based solely on spell power and not on the success rate, so my spell power is still quite high, even though it has a terrible failure rate. That's just because of my armor. So it should still be an effective Deflect Missile cast. Reflects damage. Does much more damage than the monster himself. Alright, there's the staircase to the tomb, which is usually crawling with a bunch of high-level mummies, but not this time, so I appreciate that. I do not have statue form going. Charms is 15, deflect missiles down to 10%. Let's get a cast of that going. And then we'll put, why not cold? More likely to run to cold down here anyway. Then I can use blade hands and still have 1 pip protection from cold. What teleported me? I guess I was hit by teleport and didn't notice it. Bad fleet ghosts. Regeneration's now 17% fail with blade hands going. Now let's go with intelligence. I've got enough strength at this point. We'll go back a little bit more into actual spell power and fairly decent spell success boost. We have a brand weapon and we have a manual. That's really about all that's going to be useful here. The mirror, of course. I will take the mirror. I really don't care about deck of cards. A deck of wands would be interesting, but that is not a thing. I guess I'll drop faith. Air magic. Well, hey, if I got a manual, let's go ahead and pump up some more air magic. Maybe we can get that castable without using wizardry. More simulacrum, so at least this time now I actually have double resist cold, so I feel a little bit safer fighting them. A book I haven't seen yet. I guess I could drop the second ring of fire resistance, but let's drop brand weapon instead. I'm not going to use that. Alright, so I could do yeah, I don't really need any of those. There's some decent armor spells in there, but I can't use them because I have real armor and a real shield. I could replace the buckler I'm using with an actual, with a fake shield rather, not an actual shield, but I'm not going to bother. I would really rather just find a better shield. I might end up just getting desperate and going with the large shield with no ego. Damage reflect in here, and wow, that's a lot of summon monsters from that lich. Not only the lich, but many of them are from the lich. Was it the unborn that summoned the rest? Yeah. I don't really want to fight the unborn while he's got damage reflect on, but with this many summons, I'm going to go ahead and just do it. Most distortion to get that lich here. I guess guess since I'm not gonna be running away from that tentacle, we might as well kill the tentacle. 4 exclamation points, not bad. Was that? Yeah, 2 hits. 2 hits on the Eldritch Tentacle. One of which was much more damaging than the other one. Even with the magic resistance penalty there, I still have 2 pips, which isn't terrible, but obviously it's not enough to protect you from... There's monsters in here that paralyze, I think, the vampire knights, or some vampire, possibly more than one vampire, can do paralysis, so not having your magic resistance is a bad thing. But yeah, I think it's those vampire knights that paralyze. Let's eat some more beef jerkies. That's a book of changes. Nothing from that I want to forget. The only thing I had is blade hands, which you can pry from my cold dead blade hands. Your base air magic skill increased to 11. Now it says base because I've been drained. Warped Sphere, I don't care about that, I'll just exclude it. I should really tweak my resource file a little bit more. Ooh, Torment Death Curse. There's a Silent Spectre nearby, that's what makes that huge silence radius. But, we'll just punch it. And that's pretty much all of Crypt. We could, of course, go to Tomb if we wanted to get the Golden Rune, but that is not something that we're going to do at all this game. Tomb is a very difficult branch. I usually actually do it for my 15th rune. I wait until the very end. I would rather run Pandemonium and Hell before Tomb. It does, to a certain extent, depend on your character. If you have something that can deal with Torment, you might do Tomb a little bit earlier, but I would do Tomb last just about every time. In 16, they've added a whole bunch of new monsters to it, so it's not just endless waves of mummies anymore. It used to be just a lot of mummies. Alright, so now is a good time to go back to Vaults and do the final floor. Oh, while I'm out here, I mean, I came halfway into Vaults, but while we're here, let's go find that trove. And get shot by 50 arrows, but most of them miss. EV's up to 26, that's not terrible. I still think it should be higher. But, you know, lots of room to train armor and dodging still. Deflect missiles at 12. You know, I'm gonna just call that a day. I don't really want to invest so much into just getting a little bit better at deflect missiles. Let's go with some physical skills. Yes, you can have a weapon. Weapons are for losers. Very nice. Randart Amulet. Lots of gold. Don't really need any gold. I actually could use that. Oh, no, that does have the random rage on it. you can use items with a the active ability to enrage you, as long as you don't use items that randomly enrage you. Stasis and magic resistance, don't need that. Speaking of which, I'll drop the regular ammo stasis. So I've got earth, water, and wind evokers. You can drop attack spiders. Did I do? Yeah, I did the wrong letter there. Lowercase o instead of capital O. Ring of See Invisible. Do not need that. Nagas can see invisible by themselves. So pretty good. A couple armors, mostly jewelry, rand arts. There's regeneration. There we go. Worth it for just regeneration. I mean, it's not bad. It's got the -2 int. So that's not something I'd want to wear all the time. But I mean, I guess it's better than just a plain controlled teleport ring. But I do have the spell. Don't need flying. I already have pretty good resist negative. Yeah, we'll drop it. And then accidentally pick it back up and drop it again. Alright, so I'm going to put on regeneration. I guess that's the only actual change that I've made in here. So, not terribly useful, but I'll take regeneration over a useless Demon Blade. And then we can go back to Vaults 5. Maybe I can find a good shield. There's going to be a whole bunch of them on the Vault cards in the welcoming party. Okay. So there's a large shield. Now my deflector missiles is down. %4 with wizardry. Not bad at all. Put on protection from fire. I guess I will just end up slouching them. I mean, I don't have to. You can just stare dance them, as long as there isn't a warden. Yeah, let's see if we can find some wardens or something. Nah, we'll go up. There's an electric weapon. And they still don't get me below 200. It's nice having armor. So it's not quite as safe to be stair dancing here as it used to be, now that the Vault wardens can seal stairs and prevent you from going back up. But as long as there isn't a warden in sight, I'm still reasonably comfortable with doing that. Some people prefer to come down and teleport. Some people will take escape hatches to land in a random square in the area, anywhere on the floor. I'm still pretty happy with stair dancing, personally. It does, of course, depend on how tanky your character is. You probably don't want to stair dance if the Vault guards are going to do serious damage to your character. You know, I do this because I play people in heavy armor, worshippers of Cheibriados who have, 30, 40 EV if they're not in crystal plate armor. So were there any good shields here? Looks like no. Just one regular shield, that's it. I mean, a fair amount of them are probably on the floor above, but let's see. Yeah, so there's 3 of them on the next floor up, but still none of them with egos. What's it take to give a shield an ego? Come on, people. Oops. Wanted to do regeneration, but we'll just do blade hands. Why not? Unarmed combat to 20. Speaking of which, yeah, we've still got some summoned fiends. About a nice shred. We'll take him down. Now we got Hellions. Oh, there's a Hell Sentinel behind him too. That guy was really summoning demons. Fortunately, I didn't have to actually fight the Hell Sentinel. So nothing here I really want. And there's our 3rd rune. We can now go clear Zot and win the game. I should probably go pick up a book of callings or something so that I can learn summoning. I wouldn't mind if they would get rid of the requirement to have 10 of the spell school before you can read from high-level books. I'm probably the only one who would be silly enough to jump up to the high-level books immediately, but I do that. Random bolt. That's alright. I mean, I suppose I probably should technically keep some sort of ranged attack, but I don't really bother at this point. I've got very weak javelins. We'll call that good enough. I'll drop the positive energy. I guess I could drop air magic. I'm really not going to learn any more air magic. Would be kind of funny to rush tornado, but let's not and say we did. And I don't need a deck of cards. There we go. I can now memorize repel missiles. A little bit late, but I can learn Call Imp to train for Aura of Abjuration, and I will of course pick up Blink. Have I trained any translocations? I don't think so. No. I can cast Control Teleport based off charms alone. Gourmets. Not terrible. Can be, nice to have sometimes, but regeneration is much better. +6 Ring of Slaying. Now that is fun. I do like that, but I would rather keep the resistance of fire. This is probably just about as straight opposite of a situation as you can possibly get. Normally you would want as much slaying as possible, but with blade hands I really don't need more slaying, and I just personally don't like having to swap resistance rings in. I'd rather just keep the fire at all times, even if it's not doing anything for me 2/3 of the time. Especially when I'm about to be headed to Zot next, which does tend to have a fair amount of fire attacks. Mostly just Zot 5, but some throughout all of Zot. I don't need the flight spell, and I can't learn swiftness, so we'll just drop that book. And I think that's everything here. I'm not going to take the Cure Air Needles, so we'll just exclude that. Shadow Dragon disappears. Alright, still do not have anything for the eye, so let's see if we can step back, have him transform into something else. Or at least just come into melee range. Yes, he turned into an elephant, thank you. Still resisting with no effort. Still flying with a Titan, but what the heck. Let's get some blade hands going. These guys have some high health. Even more Titans. I still do not have resist electricity. So, an unidentified book, some armors I won't bother to identify, and a ring. I'll take that if I have items. Even if I'm not using it, I don't think I can quite bring myself to drop a ring of +6 slaying. We can certainly drop the ring, wand of draining. I could probably drop disintegration too, and I can be using that for damage. Book of Collins, I don't care. I don't care much about the gold either. I'll just take the book. Alright, so Summon Butterflies is one of the deceptively powerful spells because it can block line of sight so that things can't hit you. I'm more likely to just use Temporal Distortion if I want to bring dangerous things close to me, and I'm not going to use Summon Butterflies to escape because I would just put some blockers up and then take a step and they would get 3 turns to blow through the butterflies. So, as awesome as Butterflies usually is, I'm not going to bother with it. I will learn Apportation because, you know, that's always just fun. Double resist fire. I like that. That'll be helpful for Zot. Has, you know, negative magic resistance, so I might want to throw on one more source of magic resistance. I could go pick up the magic resistance cloak if I really wanted to. But for now, I'd probably just be fine switching that. +4 int will help a little bit with spell power. Why not? I can recast my deflect missiles without bothering with wizardry. Is that? Oh no, I don't have the warding amulet anymore. I was going to say, is that 3 pips of resist negative, but not quite. And we lost deflect missiles already, wow. I wonder if it does use your spell success instead of spell power. Because my spell power has to be pretty decent on that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's 7 pips. Come on. Did I drop the manual of air? Yeah, I did. Maybe I'll train a little bit more. Who knows? $52 damage. Metal fragments. Yeah. Okay. So that was a rapid deconstruction. Who cast that? Ancient Lich. Okay, Ancient Lich shattered a metal wall, 50 damage. I guess I could use a slouch to thin the hurt a little bit. It's gonna be tough to get the Ancient Lich all the way down here. Let's see how it goes. This is definitely a fight that you should, you know, pause immediately at the beginning of. It is going to be tough, but yeah, the Angel Lich came down without casting too much, so I got fairly fortunate there, and once he's in melee range, not much of a problem anymore. Still took a ton of damage at that last step where I was walking in. He hellfired me a couple times, it looks like. There's one hellfire. Smite. Yeah, it adds up. 2 smites, a hellfire. That looks like that was the burst at the end there. How am I doing on 14% while blade hands up? Normally I would just be able to cast regeneration pretty easily while using blade hands, but not in crystal plate armor. Let's turn auto pickup back on because I forgot to do that. Don't care about the sack of spiders, don't care about the lunch of shadows. Still a very powerful item, but you know, let's not. Plus, to be fair, it's mostly a powerful item for running away, and why we should do that. Wonder how much damage it would have saved on this fight if I had turned off flying. But, you know. Another airstrike. Let's take that 14% chance. Now we're gonna warp him down here. He's doing way too much damage. Titans are very annoying if you happen to be flying or not resistant to electricity. And they always just have powerful melee attacks, but you know, I'm one of the few people who I can really say melee attacks are not that threatening because crystal plate armor still does, you know, medium damage, just not nearly as much as a Titan normally does. And with the spell regeneration and the amulet regeneration, I am healing up pretty nicely. Any damage that I do end up taking. Oh, there's my fire evoker. I definitely don't need to keep both of the rings of fire now that I have a double ring of fire. Ring of protection from fire. Yes, really drop it, and this time don't pick it up again. So I guess I could try and fit in like 5 evocations or something somewhere. It's definitely not going to be expensive compared to, you know, 20 of armor and unarmed. I kind of do want to fit in shields as well, though. Could probably drop wizardry. I could drop the potions of invisibility. I do have the wand. Alright, -4 dexterity, but that's got some of the resistances I've been looking for. It gives me the RC so I can drop the RC buckler. I think I might wear that over the EV +5. It's going to really hurt my EV since it also has the -4 dexterity. But into +4 is nice. I'll drop the ring of protection from cold. One cold resistance source is enough for me. And then also the wizardry. We don't care about it anymore. So I'm now omni-resistant, lacking a couple of the special resistances like mutation and corrosion, but I have all the elemental ones that I want. Right? Yeah, everything except for, I guess, I wouldn't count acid as elemental. Oh, come on, Heartbeat, don't be annoying. End up next to me, thank you. Let's go ahead and dump shields. Dump into shields. Alright, we'll go do Zot. I don't think I'm gonna bother running around the Abyss without mutation resistance, and I don't have corrosion resistance for slime. Those are the two runes that I would normally consider to be the easiest of extended, and I'm not going to do either of them, I don't think. As much as I would like to, there's certainly plenty of room for this character to grow, as most of my core skills are not even much over 20. I need a lot more dodging, a lot more fighting. I could get another, 5 levels of unarmed pretty easily. And, some of that I will get in Zot, so it's not like I'm going to be doing Zot 5 without more experience, but it would be nice to run some additional areas, but it's certainly not necessary. It's a shame I don't have any scrolls to enchant my large shield because I've been dumping them all onto my crystal plates, so there's a shortage of enchant armors. I'm a little bit worried about my magic resistance being down to 3 pips again, but I think that it will be enough. Technically, some mobs like a lich might have, a very small chance of hexing me with something like a 10% chance or so, but shouldn't be a problem. Blade Hand's back up to yellow because of the shield, but that will not last very long. Berserked Ice Giant, Ice Dragon. Blade Hand's already dropping back down to 10%, but still yellow. Let's see an 8, come on. Aww. Cheibriados protects me from being fast. Don't worry, I do not speed up. I appreciate your concern for my god conducts, but we are safe. You do get the bonus hit points, which is always fun on a Naga to see massive berserk hit points. Now let's go up there while we're here because I'm actually hungry. Well, it's times like these that I'm glad that I actually have electricity resistance. Now let's actually go ahead and stop flying. Do some blade hands. Yeah, this is a good thing to have electricity resistance for. I would probably not have been able to fight these people without electricity resistance. Technically, I probably shouldn't even be fighting them with electricity resistance, but we're going to ignore that. In case you're trying to scream at your monitor, yes, I am aware that I am using blade hands and a large shield at the same time. You'll just have to bear with my little quirks. You know. Well, there's mutation resistance, so that opens up a fair amount of extended if I did want to go for it. I would still like to have stone skin, but I could deal without it. I think I'm going to just stick to the 3 runes. When I end up going crystal plate, you know, it kind of limits the flexibility of the character. Turns you into more of a pure fighter. Not that you're by any means a pure fighter, but a little bit more of a fighter. And I'll probably just stick with the 3 runes. Storms, don't need that. I'll take the teleportation, and this is something. I can drop warding. Hey, there's stone skin. They're really trying to make me do it. They're trying to make me do it. I have exactly two spell levels left. Spell in my blade hands. You leave my blade hands alone. If I want to chop things into tiny little pieces, that's my right. Come to me. There we go. Not really much that could be better. I was thinking maybe it could be magic resistance, but I think I'm going to just be okay with the 3 pips of magic resistance. We don't need, where was it, ranged weapon. That's what I'm looking to turn off. Don't need amnesia either. Well, actually, let's eat the ghost. No, ghost moth is mutagenic. Thought it was just poisonous, but we will not eat the ghost moth. Blade hands back down to 4%. So in case I really want to get rid of that shield, we just get rid of the shield. But I mean, even just plain punching without blade hands does plenty of damage. If you were gonna not get blade hands, I would certainly have a little bit more than 21 unowned. You know, take that up to like 25 or so. You don't have to necessarily go all the way to 27. You can. Going 27 is quite alright on your main attack. Let's dance up. if you get constricted by the monstrosity, that can stop you from going up, although you can always try and escape and still go up, but you might get delayed. However, it is rather easy to break constriction when you have 35 strength. That is a strength roll that you take in order to escape it. They are really swarming here. Let's go back up. Throw on some regeneration. Look at our loot. Another cloak. Let's identify it because I care. And then let's drop it because I don't care. I am starting to run out of patience for identifying tons of cloaks, though. Really don't need them. I should probably be recasting Dispel missiles at some point here. I may did invest a lot in it to not even use it. I got dispelled. Was that another spell? Yep. Just let me blade hands the people. Come on. Maybe we should kill this. Well, you know, kill some of the draconians first. No, that's the wrong one. I killed the modeled one, so the purple one. Oh well. In the end, they're all dead. Missiles. Yeah, a big part of why I'm willing to do blade hands and shields at the same time is because I generally will end up using statue form from this point on, like, you know, as I go through extended. But since I'm not going to be doing that this game, there's less reason than usual to be picking up shields, but, you know, it's kind of a habit. I would probably recommend you don't do that unless you are going to be running extended, in which case, you know, you have plenty of experience and it's quite alright. Alright, double orb of destruction on that turn. Let's do some slashes to take care of the orb spiders. Start being a little bit more careful about this fight. Damage reflection is always a pain in the butt. And I already have him constricted, so I just keep taking the constriction damage even though I'm trying not to attack him. There it goes. Now we can finish him off. But we still cannot tap. Let's go to full because I say so. It's important to every once in a while have a nice feast, make your character feel better, it's good for morale. Another reflect damage. Something unseen opens the door and it turns out to be a giant cob of corn. Proof that they have not yet removed all of the jokes from Dungeon Crawl. more javelins. Oh no, you've corroded my armor. I only have 52 AC left. Tap, 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 all day long. Tap, 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 while I sing this song. And there's shields 15. So we'll go back to... Let's just do all of the core physical skills. Get generally gooder at things. Oof. Is that double torment? Yeah, it's double torment. I'm gonna go ahead and just spend some blinking. Get myself out of there pronto. Especially at this point, I'm on the last floor of the game, Zot 4, that I can actually blink. You know, you don't blink on Zot 5. So, might as well use them. Use them if you got them. I'm down to only one resist negative. But that's alright. Confused and tormented. Looks like I'm never going to end up picking up Aura of Abjuration either. Alright, we got to the Cursed Toe without being tormented, and then he just died. Let's also start burning some things like magic mapping. Looks like a fairly standard level. Combat to 21. See, I use my shield sometimes. Probably did not need to take that step. Let's get this Cursed Toe down. So many Draconians, so little time. It's been a while since I got a Enchant Armor Skull. Come on. Still need 4. Zap Trap. Only took acid. That's not bad. Just checking to see if he actually tried to blink out of my constriction ever. Because it's always fun just denying people the ability to blink. Blink is one of the more annoying monster abilities. And as I say that, here comes someone who's going to blink me. Must have killed the the blinker early because I'm going to get super blinked that time. That white dragon breath that's blowing me back is because you're flying. If you're flying, white dragon breath can knock you back. It will not knock you back if you do not fly. So if that's bothering you, you can turn out flying. I usually just leave flying on because I'm lazy, even though honestly it's not really doing anything because there's very little water and fire around here. Water and lava. I wish they would remove the special cases that make flying negative so that you wouldn't have to worry about turning it on and off. Alright, so we're going to magic map again. Final floor of the game. The Zot chamber is always this sort of layout where there's these two lungs on the side, so it's the lower right and then the upper right, and then, you know, same thing on the left. There's a little entrance chamber here, then you take one side, go up into the middle here where the orb of Zot is. Storm Dragon hide, there's already been Storm Dragon armors in this game, but I do not want either of those things. Scroll of Acquirement at this point in the game. Alright, well, do armor and just see what happens. Maybe I get a, there you go, orange crystal plate armor. I mean, the clarity is nice. The int +3 is decent. But it's actually 2 less armor than what I have. I don't think we're going to need clarity at all in here. And I don't really have anything that cares about spell power. I mean, regeneration. But, you know, when I already have 40 int, I'm not really too crazy about 3 more int. So yeah, I think I'll just ignore that. It's acquired on Zot 5 anyway, it's not like it's going to make much of a difference. Can I cast? Yeah, I haven't spawned it as 24% value, probably need a couple more. Yeah, 6.4 is not enough necromancy. I would need a little more necromancy for that to work. I do occasionally like to dispel undead liches because I tend to train a decent amount of necromancy just for regeneration alone. So picking up dispel undead is usually pretty cheap. But I didn't really train too much necromancy this game. So they'll just get chopped to pieces like everybody else. Almost all of the outer area, but we have not yet cleared all the outer areas, so let's just avoid going into the orb chamber. Ooh. Funny little robe up there, purple and flashy. But not going to be better than crystal plate, I can guarantee you that. Orb of Fire. 2 of them. I'm not wearing my Amulet of Resist Mutation. I'll go ahead and put that on. That'll give me the +3 int that I would have gotten from the orange crystal plate armor. Does put deflect missile down to 6%. Make it also be the armor skill. Let's do a regeneration. I guess they closed in fast enough that I didn't really need to use an additional turn for regeneration. I could have just done blade hands and have them come in. I'm gonna toss a slouch on them. Oof, that one went down pretty fast. I'll take a step to the right here. Bring the Lich into melee range. Two-shot him. And now we just have a fire dragon. And there you go. So that's a good example of this build, just destroying everything. Normally 2 Orbs of Fire and an Ancient Lich would be something you would want to avoid fighting directly. But even though I have trouble walking up to the Orb of Fires and have to wait for them to come to me, it's still not a particularly hard fight. Obviously there's a decent amount of die rolling, and if you know, I gotten some bad dice, it could have gone much worse, but you know, in the average case, pretty reasonable to handle that. You may leave the chunks behind, yes. Alright, another Orb of Fire. Let's go with a little bit of noise with blade hands, and then let's warp him next to me. There you go. Thank you for coming right as you were called. And we have a base armor skill of 21. Yeah, so my physical skills are finally starting to get sort of high. I could probably do... I had something with arc corrosion. What was it? There's a -3 cloak with it. That's not too unwearable. And then, yeah, there's the plate armor. So technically I could probably use the -3 cloak and do slime, but I'm not going to bother. I'd like to finish this recording tonight so that I can, you know, not have to worry about it tomorrow. I'm going to be fairly busy setting up for a party tomorrow. I would rather not try to fit in recording more things while we're getting the apartment cleaned up and everything. Maybe I'll do a 15 rune run for something else. Maybe could do an octopode or something cool. I never did end up going to the Ziggurat either. I was going to originally do a couple floors of that, but hey, that would be also an excellent place to get a good amount of experience. They're very dense on experience, so that could solve, you know, if you want to be a little bit stronger, do a couple floors of a Ziggurat. Don't go too deep unless you know what you're doing, especially when you don't have much area of effect damage, but you can certainly get a lot of experience in a Ziggurat. I'm going to back up a little bit here. Oh, I just cast 2 regenerations and then he goes and dispels them. That's mean. I want my regeneration. Especially in here where you could be ambushed at any time. Speaking of which, why don't I actually use deflect missiles? So you want to really be advancing slowly in here, let them come down to you. I like to always check the edges, make sure there's nothing down here before you go in further. So maybe I'm awesome, maybe my character's awesome, but I'm just realizing that I've never actually zapped my Wand of Heal Wounds or recharging anything ever. I mean, I suppose I could have like recharged some rods or something, but 5 charges allowing, in case I want to bring people down to my level. Yes, I am casting regeneration while I'm at full life. Probably unnecessary, but hey, something could wander into my vision and then I won't have to cast it again. I've already lost deflect missiles. Seriously? Now it's at 4%. Stop failing. Let's bring it a little closer. That got him sort of close, but not really close. Let's do it again because I don't feel like being hit by the orb of destruction. Ancient Lich is destroyed, but the orb of energy is still going around. One of them did hit the Ancient Lich. That's interesting. I didn't actually kill the Ancient Lich. Okay. Fine. Orb hits me. I probably won't be auto-exploring. I hit all the time. Did I ever cast Apportation? No, I didn't. I didn't even train it. Could have easily picked up 2 levels of translocations. Let's do that. There, now I can almost cast Apportation. Permanent teleport trap, that could be handy if I want to make a quick exit. Take a 9% off Apportation each Orb Guardian. 21%. So now, with Cheibriados, I tend to not pick up the Orbizot on this turn here. I would rather go a little bit further to the left to check for very close nearby monsters that might wander in that I will not be able to outrun. But today that seems to be pretty empty. So let's say I probably don't need to stick with the resist mutation amulet. I can go a little bit down. Let's see how much 3 int actually impairs my spellcasting, taking off the 3 int. We can go back to the amulet of regeneration, push the deflect missiles back up into yellow, but that's okay. Alright, so now we've got the orbs out. We're gonna use some safe walk, shift direction, and slowly walk out of here. Do not take multiple steps by hitting the keyboard multiple times. That will be very bad. If something like a Tormentor or Panlords come into view and you give them 3 turns to hit you, you will regret it. I'm not going to bother to go back and pick up the Javelin. Toenail Golem. Rather than doing the auto travel, I'm going to, do Shift X up arrow to find the closest stair on each floor. I don't usually bother to explore all 3 staircases on most floors, so they are not all explored, and the interlevel fast travel will only take staircases that you have already explored. What? I stepped and he didn't even move 1 tile closer to me. Oh hey, Panlord happens to spawn directly next to me. That's nice. Saved me the trouble of having to hunt him down. Wonder what abilities he had. We'll never know. Torment. He hasn't seen me yet. No, he's seen me. Alright, let's bring him closer. Don't torment me. Don't torment me. Thank you. Oh, blink's at 17% now. If I really wanted to blink, I could. Alright, I did in fact hit a couple directional keys at the same time. So don't do that. I'm bad. Being a bad person. Who's actually summoning these? Shadow Trap? Is there a Shadow Trap there? I don't think so. It's the Corruptor. Plain Rend. Okay. What the heck? Let's kill him. There it goes. There's one real Rust Devil, and that's about it. Another Panlord. Looks like he's fast. But he's also next to me now, which is a really bad idea. Like, let me give you some advice. Every monster in this dungeon, just don't stand next to me. You know? What's that police song? Don't stand so close to me. It's just, you know, it's really good advice. Gonna just drag this red devil because they're really annoying. We'll kill the 640 and accidentally take a step. Alright, that puts us pretty close to out of that. I should probably just like random teleport around to get closer to the stairs. Yeah, okay. Did not get mutated yet. He did try, but he just failed. Now let's just lead him until he catches up with me, and then yeah, wow, still not doing that much damage with without using blade hands on Emperor Scorpions. I should look up what their AC is. Yeah. I'll look it up after I win. Another Panlord. Probably a little bit too far for me to outrun him. But we'll use a little choke point. And we'll dig. After we stop having blades for hands. No fights that far. We will probably not be that lucky on this floor since we have to go all the way to the other side. Was that 5? Nope, just 2 4s in a row. 4 exclamation point hits. I'm sure I've gotten a 5 exclamation point hit on something, but probably not very often. I still don't have maximum unarmed combat. Oh, it's a nice purple brain. Let's move up a step, go around a corner, and make him walk towards me. Dodging skill 18. And a diva. And just 4s. Back to the main dungeon. Should be a little bit less crowded in here. I'll go ahead and just take escape hatches at this point. It doesn't really matter. The D12 that I never explored. Pro tip, if you ever want to win this game, skip D12. It's the hardest floor in the game, seriously. Absolutely. Just don't ever do it. Hell Sentinel, that'll be fun. Hell Sentinel, really high AC. As opposed to the Emperor Scorpion, which is just rather high AC. But again, Blade Hands will go through anything. Oh, let's save 3 turns and dig the wall. Once again, I'm only saving 2 turns because Blade Hands. Cheer up. Well, have fun pelting me with rocks. I don't really care. There's the site of my annoying Naga fight way back in part 1. I guess I really don't need Blade Hands for some killer bees, but, you know, what's done is done. It cannot be made whole again. Those bees will never see the light. The light on the surface, which is where I am going. But I can't catch up to a bat. No matter how powerful I will be, a bat will always outdo me. There we go, we landed construction. I think this is where I fought that hill giant and had to flee up the stairs. I remember it well. We're coming to the end of our journey. If you have actually watched all of the parts of this Let's Play, then I commend you. It's a, you know, fairly long video, all said and done, but we got through it relatively quickly. I'm not a speedrunner in real time by any means, but I do try to go a little bit quickly. Tormentor. I should probably just switch to the Tormentor, yeah. Take him out in one hit, not even using Blade Hands. Crimson Imp, the deadliest creature in the dungeon. We're gonna leave him behind. You have to, you know, bow to your superiors every once in a while. Brimstone Fiend, that could go south pretty fast. Let's actually check this one. It doesn't tell you what they have, that's right, it just tells you that it may possess a whole lot of them. Well, he wasn't too tough. I'm gonna step out of the line of sight of that guy. What the heck, let's just teleport. The devil is just gonna sit there and block him anyway, so it's not like I can be attacked by the fiend. Did you put me next to something? Seriously. Oh, okay. Never mind. These are the upstairs. I am much happier with that. Yeah, stupid Blade Hands. Can't use my wand at digging. Why'd they have to take away my digging spell? Let's see if we get tormented. Yes. And then a bolt of cold, but I still have one type of cold resistance, so that's good. Miscast regeneration. Come on, we need some regeneration. We just got tormented. Have some pity. Oof, it's a null. We're gonna avoid that pack of nulls, but they're coming after me. What can I do? Alright, so I probably could have done this escape a little bit more quickly, but I tend to go carefully, even though I don't necessarily need to do as much slow, you know, careful care. Just don't want to mess it up right at the end. That would be embarrassing, you know? Ooh, the Seraph. No, he could spawn on it. Ruined Pearl Dragon armor. I could go, you know, light armor and use some EV. That might be interesting. Let's not. Would be interesting to see what my EV was in a light armor. Pearl Dragon's, you know, very good armor. But it probably won't be better than crystal armor. So that's it. I've won the game. I guess I can look at my skills one last time. 22 unarmed, so that's enough. It would have to be, yeah, 21.6 is the cutoff for 6-aught unarmed attacks. So 22 is guaranteed to be at least points, you know, 6-aught, which it will be most of the time. Very small chance of 0.5 turns or 5-aught attacks. Aught just stands for absolute unit of time. It's the smallest unit of time in the game. You can think of it kind of like seconds. And never finished armor or dodging, but I have a combined AC and EV of 81, so yeah, we'll just take that. You have escaped. 77,000 turns, 6 hours. You know, obviously a little bit slower talking and everything, but not a bad game. And that's going to conclude Naga Monk. I don't really have a huge amount of closing thoughts. It's a good build. I could have gotten a lot stronger if I had done more areas, but I had kind of not been getting what I wanted until the very end. And by the time I got to the very end, I had kind of already decided, let's just do 3 runes, record a win, keep the Let's Play from going on for another hour or 2. And I'm pretty happy with it. I might do another one if I have the time, but we'll see. It definitely does slow down when I can play, because you know, I don't always have the freedom to do a quiet audio recording when, you know, other people are around. So it does make it a little bit harder to schedule game time. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. And maybe I'll do another run if you guys want to suggest a combo. Maybe I'll get to that eventually, but no promises. We'll see how it goes. So thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. See you next time.